Okay, this is Lynn Thompson. Why did I start this podcast? That's what I'd like to explain. I started this podcast because I wanted to reach out and connect with people who had interesting stories. But I also got really interested in what our stories tell about us. What are we saying to ourselves when we repeat these stories we've heard, maybe from our family? They kind of typify you. Oh, she's the one who's always late, or she's the one who can't get organized, or she's the one who is too shy. I mean, we hear these stories about ourselves and we carry them with us from our family for like way too many years. Like, I really want to talk about what stories are you telling yourself that don't fit anymore? Is it time to leave those stories gently behind and tell yourself a different story? A great example is this podcast. I'm starting a podcast. I'm starting a business and I'm determined to go through with it. And I was told in my family, our story was, it was a cautionary tale, right? We were told that, oh, you should never go into your own business. Remember Uncle Arthur? He lost his shirt. And we were always afraid. We always tried to be safe. And so I followed that. I believed that. I carried that story. And whenever I started something new or got excited about something or tried to start a business or a side thing, I wouldn't tell anyone, so that when I failed, which I inevitably did, or just gave up or lost interest, I didn't have to admit it. So I did that over and over for far too many years. And I took this wonderful podcast course that Kathy Heller runs. She's mega successful, and she gave us so much of her time, and we got friendly with each other in the group. And I just said, that's it. I'm changing the pattern. I'm flipping it up. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to share and tell everyone I'm doing it. I'm not going to back out silently like I used to. And so that's a big part of why I'm here, is to move forward with this idea that's so important to me. I'm super interested in your stories. I just love people's stories. I love stories in general. I love myths. I love legends. I'm an English major. I'm obsessed. I read too much, if there is such a thing. But I want to push into stories. I want to see what they can tell us about ourselves. And I also am dying to interview you. If you have a story you'd like to share, it's starting to sort of shape up as themes. I seem to have a few people that are willing to talk about mental health. And so I could do mental health stories. I know some entrepreneurs that are amazing. I could do a couple of entrepreneur interviews. Anything that kind of shapes up into stories of success, bumps in the road, things you can learn from. That's what I really love, is tell me a story and then tell me what you learned from it, or tell me what you wish you knew in the beginning. Because stories really teach us. They always have. I mean, I started to look into this subject more deeply and realized that we still love stories that are thousands of years old. We still love old stories. Like, it's such a human connection to tell stories. It's been happening for thousands of years. It happened before we had writing. People would sit around a fire and they would relax and look up at the stars, and they would make designs from the stars. They would tell stories about what they saw, about the bull or the hunter, or, whatever they saw, the scorpion, the seven sisters. It's just so neat to think about that connection that's so old. But also to talk about, are the stories you're telling yourself helping you? Because if they're not helping you, then it's time to re-examine them. And I found out recently that there's a whole discipline in psychology called narrative psychology. And I would love to learn more about it, because it sounds a lot like what I stumbled upon myself, which I think is easy to stumble upon because stories are so common to human experience. But it's a really, to me, fascinating angle to look at our psychology and our experiences and what we can learn about ourselves. I feel like anything that holds you back from being who you really are, that's got to go. We don't have time to waste being inauthentic. We don't have forever to waste. Not expressing our gifts and not being who we are. The world needs everyone to give what they have and to add what they can to the world. It's really, really that dramatic and that important. And I feel propelled and pushed out of my comfort zone to offer whatever support I can to hear your stories so that we can get to the bottom of who we are. We can help each other with what we've learned. I feel like I could help people a lot. I could teach them what it's like to procrastinate too much and to not believe in yourself and to give up too easily. I mean, those are not fun stories, but that's been my, if I'm honest, that's part of my history. And I'm so excited because part of what I've learned in the last several months that I've been taking this course and sharing with these wonderful people that are doing their own podcasts, what I've learned is, and I kind of knew it, but I really believe it now, it's never too late. I'm 63 years old and I feel like a little kid. I'm starting something new and I'm going to go through with it. And I'm just so excited because it connects with something that's really me, that's really important to me. And I think of Grandma Moses all the time. I always tell people Grandma Moses didn't paint until she was like 78 and she painted wonderful paintings. And it's just never too late to start being who you really are, doing what you really want, and telling your story. I'm just so excited. We're coming to you on February 14th, 2022. You can check us out. I have a Facebook group called the Storied Human, and I'm on Instagram at lthompson574. And I'll see you, I'll be hearing you in February. I'm really excited. Thanks.